Down the rabbit hole we go, to a very unsettling graveyard. But this graveyard is unlike any you've seen before, because within these airy grounds is erected the gravestone of, well, the internet. Dated 2016, that's the year many people believe the internet died. It's said that's when the web shifted like the polar ice caps, flowing in a wave of fresh bots and algorithms while washing out the salty humanoids like you and me until nothing but machinery was left. And let's face it, you've been noticing it. Just think of all those god-awfully edited shorts narrated by AI, how the styles feel blander than white rice, how it's always the same old script, the same old fluff slathered over the stale content you've consumed a million times before. Heck, it's elevated people's paranoia sky high, with some even believing I'm AI. But the dead internet theory takes it much further than that, and I'm going to prove to you it's all true. Well, sort of, but not in any way you currently think, no. But in a way I guarantee is going to shock you like electromagnetic therapy. Let's start from the beginning by discussing its history, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes by dissecting everything. It all started in 2016. This is the year AlphaGo beat the greatest Go player in the world, Lee Sedol. But it's also the year an anonymous user posted a thread titled, "The Internet as a Forum is Dead" on 4chan. He claimed AI took over the internet not just by censoring words and images, but by something way more sinister. He claimed legions of AI bots, controlled by the media, were unleashed across the internet, creating fake posts, comments, and replies to manipulate us. But how in God's green earth could this be possible? Large language models like ChatGPT didn't yet exist, and to think that bots could fool us humans back then was as laughable as believing Half-Life 2 was ever going to get a sequel. But yet, other people were noticing it too, like this guy, who in 2017 made a post claiming that most users were bots with fake profiles and names, pointing to the fact that all kinds of similar comments, written in a strange sentence structure, were appearing everywhere. Well, it just so happens people started noticing these strange occurrences the year after OpenAI was founded in 2015, and a couple years before GPT-1, the prototype of ChatGPT, was released to the public. Did OpenAI flood the internet with rudimentary chatbots much earlier than we knew the technology existed? Maybe, because these observations are just two examples of the many seeds planted that allowed for the dead internet theory to take root. By the summer of 2019, the seeds germinated and the theory sprouted. But not on 4chan, no, but WizardChan, an image board for guys who couldn't get laid no matter how hard they tried. They called themselves wizards, but apparently no amount of magic could give these wannabe pickup artists enough riz to get laid. Joking aside, on August 16th, 2019, a Harry Potter protege posted a thread titled "Dead Internet Theory" and much more to the lounge board of WizChan, formally introducing the theory to the world. However, it was written by a conspiratorial fruitcake that'll turn you off quicker than rotten eggs. For example, in a vernacular full of vulgarity and pejorative slang, he said he believed the real world used 4chan as a template, referencing how transgenders became a thing because 4chan users masturbated to them. But within the crackpot of craziness emerged the infamous theory. It goes a little something like this. Once upon a time, the internet was a thriving place full of exciting websites and communities that were jam-packed full of people. But as time went on, everything withered, and the internet became a desolate wasteland, comparable to a hot air balloon with nothing inside except a handful of websites. Content became sterile, with the exact same posts appearing over and over again across the image boards he frequented, where a post made one year would reappear the next, made up of the exact same comments, replies, and pictures. At this point, I introduce Rod Serling because only the Twilight Zone can narrate what happens next. He claims your favorite YouTuber to your most hated politician may not actually exist, but instead be a deepfake or CGI using technology far more advanced than anything we know exists today. I know what you're thinking. He's batshit crazy. And you're right. But despite how far-fetched his delusions were, the sentiment of what he said resonated like a guitar chord with an audience he never met. In particular, it reached Illuminati Pirate in 2021 from the Agora forums, who cooked up an updated theory. He gathered the spices from scattered posts across the fertile lands of Agora, 4chan, and WizardChan, written by the Agorans, Anons, and incelibate wizards of its time. Then, ladle in hand, he stirred the ingredients together in a cauldron of 4chan lore, brewing a sloppy, copy-pasted anthology, regurgitating, word for word, WizardChan's dead internet theory, some of its replies, and more. This updated theory included accusations that the United States government, and I quote, is engaging in an artificial intelligence-powered gaslighting of the entire world. In addition, he claimed not only were influencers, politicians, and actors fake, but many average, everyday people were as well, sharing snapshots of fake humans caught in the wild to drive his point home. Illuminati Pirate advertised his sloppy stew across the internet he believed to be dead, and soon after, it calved, plunging like a glacier into the mainstream. This is partly thanks to a news article by The Atlantic titled, "Maybe You Missed It, but the Internet Died 5 years ago," which dissected Illuminati Pirate's updated theory. But to get access to the article, and get this, I had to time travel in the Wayback Machine because, ironically, an article talking about the dead internet theory just so happened to be gated behind a paywall. So pay up, fellas, because the internet might be dead, but it ain't free. But you know what is? YouTube. If you can maneuver through the landmine of ads, that is. This is where the dead internet theory reached its peak exposure, having catapulted to a fresh set of eyes when popular YouTubers like Y-Files dipped their fingers into the airy theory. So with the history out of the way, let's figure out if this theory is true. But first, I need to be clear. I'll only be getting into the ifs, but not the whys of the theory. Let me explain. The dead internet theory says bots have taken over the internet. That's the if. It says it did so because secret government agencies are manipulating the world. That's the why. But I'm no martyr, and getting into that will get me shadow banned quicker than Alex Jones. So without further ado, let's feast on the flesh and discard the bones to weed out the truth from the lies. The internet is a hot air balloon. Look guys, this is how I see it. The days of having our very own GeoCities page, to our own quirky, lively MySpace themes amidst the endless sea of blogs and forums for us to dive into, have all set sail to the wind. Now we get a bland social media profile laid out like a police report form, stamped with a username and, at most, a customizable banner. So, has the internet become a sterile, hot air balloon full of corporate chow? Most definitely, but that doesn't really tell us anything. So let me give you a little jolt of reality. Here's what I call the Great Wall of Media, comprised of the big tech standing sentinel. Here's Google search, Facebook, X, TikTok, Discord, and so on. Outside of the wall is the internet at large, the wild, wild west. And inside of the wall is you, smack dab in the middle. Let's say you're bored, so you want to breach the walls like Attack on Titan and see what's out there. What the heck do? You could stroll down your feed on X or Facebook, find a link, click it, hoping it's not some crypto scam, promotion, or clickbait news article. But let's say you hit up Google search and type in, cats. You get all kinds of results from Wikipedia, Reddit, the National Geographic, and so on. But those are all large corporations in the mix of links to smaller companies that want what's inside your wallet. Where's all the pages made by real people for the people? I'm sorry to say, but it's all gone with the wind, because you'll have to set sail to find it. So let's hop in our ships and contrast Google with Wibby, an open source search engine that mimics the old internet. If we type in cats, here is what we get. We get a website about this. And take a look at this one. And now this one. True, these websites are all old, outdated relics of the past, but they remind us of the magic that used to be. And to be honest, I almost forgot what it was like until I did this archaeological dig. But enough messing around. Let's mind you now. In total, Google has removed at least 3.9 billion links due to copyright claims, and over 2.9 million links under the European privacy law, according to its transparency report. Trying to make sense of those numbers is like decoding one of Neil deGrasse Tyson's 13.7 billion year old universe rants. It'll take an eternity. And that's just scratching the surface, because these numbers do not include government takedown requests, among other type of requests as well. But make of these numbers what you will. As for YouTube, well, their automated flagging system removed over, and get this, 29 million videos in 2023 alone, and over 370,000 videos for misinformation in the same year. Again, make sense of that what you will, but why is it I'm getting fed the same old crap over and over again? Maybe we've been insulated within the Great Wall of media, like a kitten sheltered from the outside world. Yes, you can still find some blogs, forums, and communities on Google, and use second-rate search engines like Wibby to dig up more communities in between miles of ghost towns and abandoned buildings. But most of what you come across will be archaic, like 18th century buildings full of dusty, old men and women playing bingo. If they're really even human anymore, that is. People online are fake. Get this, Imperva, an IT security company, estimates that 50% of all internet traffic are bots. I know, that's crazy, but bots could be used for anything. They could be used by the Wayback Machine to archive websites, or by some egotistical criminal to hack into accounts by using stolen credentials. But we don't care about any of that. What we're interested in are the bots that pretend to be human, making posts, comments, replies, and even DMs, as if they're one of us. Do they make up most of the people online like the dead internet theory says? Or is it all a bunch of baloney? Well, in 2022, Elon Musk estimated that 20% of Twitter users were fake, and Facebook detected over 2.6 billion fake accounts in 2023 alone. Those are shockingly huge numbers, yes. But we have no idea how many of those fake accounts were actually bots. But we know bots certainly have the capability to be human, because if you head over to character.ai, you can have conversations with thousands of chatbots that act so human you can't even tell the difference, all with their own unique personalities, slangs, lingos, you name it. On Reddit, now outdated experiments were carried out on places like the subreddit SubSimulator GPT-2, where chatbots were let loose to talk to one another, making thousands of posts, comments, and replies. So, no matter how you spin the bolts, we're in a nutty situation and no one knows just how greasy it gets. Online content is fake. Like me, I know you've been bombarded with so much AI-generated content that it's made your stomach turn. If I have to watch another one of those god-awful shorts with its AI-generated voice, AI-generated script, and AI-generated edits like this one,
Here are 3 facts about the Grim Reaper.
then I'm gonna go insane like Vincent van Gogh and paint the walls red. But that's all the obvious stuff. What about all of the content that's meant to deceive you? To make you think it's real, when in reality it's completely fake. Maybe
This has been my real voice all along, and you've been duped the entire time. To figure it out, let's tune into a couple of fans trying to answer that very same question.
So, have you ever wondered if his voice is like real, or if it's just a super advanced AI?
Oh, totally. I mean, his voice has that weird kind of robotic cadence sometimes, you know?
Exactly. But do you think it could also just be like his natural voice being dramatized a bit?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility too. I mean, some creators, like, they deliberately add odd cadences just to keep things, engaging. It's an art form in itself, really.
what you just heard were 2 AIs talking to each other using scripts they generated themselves. Spooky, right? Now just imagine this. If a simple guy like me can do wild stuff like that, then what more can genius minds puppeteered by the fingertips of the rich and powerful do? Personally, I have no idea, but to say that Mr. Beast, Billie Eilish, and Greta Thunberg are deepfakes and don't really exist is too far-fetched for me to buy into just yet. If anything, it's much easier to turn a real person into a puppet than it is to fabricate the existence of one, at least for now. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. But the fact we even have to have this conversation tells us there's a lot of truth in the dead internet theory. But it's not dead just yet. No, it's dying, and we're witnessing the last stages of its life. But in its struggle to survive, there's been a resurgence of the old internet, expressed in sites like NeoCities and Space Hay. These places will hit the grandpas and mas of the internet right in the feel with nostalgia, while simultaneously giving the youth a hurrah of self-expression they never knew they had. But who knows? Maybe traversing down that road will lead you to a place that feels familiar, but is, in reality, a modern-day Westworld. But there's only one way to find out, William.